In this video, I show you the very start of my brand new O-gauge layout. Hi everybody and welcome back to Newton Grove, and before I start, do me a favour, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave me a comment through as you're watching and give the video a big thumbs up as well. Now, you are familiar with my original O-gauge layout, Newton Grove, which is also the name, of course, of this channel. That layout was my first O-gauge layout that I ever built. It is 9 foot long by 18 inches wide, and it's also got a 4 foot by 2 foot fiddle yard, which I built when I started to exhibit it here in the UK. But I've been amassing a big collection of locomotives over the past few years, and Newton Grove, as wonderful as it is to operate, and it's been fantastic to build, well, it doesn't accommodate the growing collection. I've probably got close to 35 or maybe even 40 locomotives, and Newton Grove can only hold about 10 or 11 very comfortably. And I'd always wanted to build a larger layout. I was thinking of doing Newton Grove Mark II, and I originally dropped some plans for that, once again using Rose Grove as a basis and trying to basically sort of fit what I could into something almost twice the size or a fraction longer. And for whatever reason, after a while, it just sort of lost its appeal to me, because I thought, well, why do I want to have a copy of the same layout with a similar track plan? Wouldn't I want something a little bit different instead? And so that's what I've done. So I've turned my attention to a different location, and this time it was a little bit further in Lancashire. So this new layout here, which you can see in front of me in its very, very embryonic stage, is called NOTLOB. And if you're a fan of Monty Python, you'll understand where that name comes from.
And the palindrome of Bolton would be NOTLOB. It don't work.
So there you go, NOTLOB is Bolton backwards. I was going to call the layout palindrome, but I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't know what that word actually means. So I'm just going to take you through what I've got and how it's going to come about. So you can see here there's a few locomotives spread around, there's a few sets of points and so forth put down. But first of all, let's have a look at the track plan that I've decided upon. I really wanted to incorporate a turntable, and I was able to actually buy an unmade kit from Ellis Clark's Trains probably about 18 months ago, maybe even 2 years ago now. And I really wanted to have something that was that wonderful feature. There's nothing quite like seeing a big O-gauge locomotive being turned on a 70-foot turntable, and that's what that particular model is. I'm really looking forward to having that as a functioning part of this layout. So the turntable is behind the camera on that end of the layout, and the shed will be over here behind me, which will be a 6-road shed, or at least that's the plan. You can see here on the plan that I've got 2 roads in the back. I've got a double slip in the middle, which I'm really excited about. I think double slips are fantastic. And there's a lot of storage space here as well. So there's a siding here for the ash. There'll be an ash plant there. I'll have a big coaling stage, which I'm really looking forward to building. It should be a very fun layout to build and operate. And the track plan, of course, is vastly different to that of Rose Grove. Now, I did use Bolton MPD as a basis, which is why I've called the layout NOTLOB. But, of course, because I'm not building a complete carbon copy of Bolton, it's heavily inspired, as you'll probably see if you do some research on what the shed used to look like there. I didn't want it to be exactly Bolton. You have to throw some modeler's license in every now and again. So for example, over here where the Ginty is, I've got a set of points now. The track will lead up there past the turntable into the yard entrance. But of course this set of points will go directly to the turntable straight on. But this track over here where the Scott is, that will also go to the turntable. Now Bolton, when the turntable was at that end of the yard, only had 1 track access. So that's sort of what I mean by modeler's license. It's not a carbon copy of Bolton. Over here in front of me, this is where I'm going to have 2 roads here, where I'm going to have, well, there used to be the old Lancashire and Yorkshire coaling stage, which by the time the mid to late 60s rolled around, the elevated section inside had been leveled, so you could actually fit, locomotives in there, which is what they did. They stopped coaling there because BRB did the huge concrete ash plant, coal plant instead. So that's going to go there. I'm thinking of putting the old Allen Y stage there because it looks really good. It just depends on space. But either way, that's what that double track is for. And the siding over here behind the Jubilee, that is where my ash plant is going to be. So I've got an ash plant kit That's going to look fantastic, and throughout all the section here, there's going to be inspection pits as well, which is going to look great. So inspection pits near the ash plant, inspection pits over here near the LNY coaling stage, and of course there'll be inspection pits down there as well. What else am I looking at over here? Down the back over here, I have a Markway three-way point. Now, I'm looking forward to this. I think three-way points can offer such a lot in a small space, which of course is what they're designed for. And this is great because it leads you not only into the shed yard itself, but either into the coaling stage road or the ash plant road, which would be fantastic. One of the things I'm still incorporating or still planning on is I'm going to put a road that comes from behind the camera here, not probably connected to anything on the layout, all the way forward, which will basically be lined with 16-ton mineral wagons, which will basically be, the road where all the coal came in on, so I can bring in a short coal train from the fiddle yard into the back over there, so that there's always coal being weighted to refill that huge coal plant. Over here down the very bottom, as you can see, I've got a collection of locomotives there, and as I mentioned, I'm looking to have at least a 6-road engine shed. Inspection pits out the front, I'm going to have the water cranes, of course, and I'm also going to have braziers or fire barrels, whatever I can do. I might get Model U or Digitrains to do me up some braziers or thereabouts and chuck some LED lighting in there, because I think that kind of scene really looks fantastic. Now, this is going to be very similar to how I did Newton Grove. I'm not going to be using ballast, I'll be using sand, and as the videos progress, you'll see how all that basically takes place. But this should be a really good layout to play with and to shunt with. With Newton Grove, I can have 10 engines on the layout at one time, and you never get bored. With this particular layout, I should be able to move a lot all the time. In fact, when I take it out to exhibitions, the whole plan is to have 2 operators, one down one end and one down the other end, so that each operator has their own fiddle yard and you can communicate. So somebody can always be bringing an engine on, turning it around and getting it ready for stabling, whereas the other side, you can be taking something off shed, bring it over here to get coal and then off on its merry way. So I'm really looking forward to it. And as I said, once again, you can see here the plan. I think this offers a lot of fun, lots of scope, and hours upon hours of enjoyment. So to begin with, before anything happens, I've built these Granger and Hodder boards. The turntable, we had to cut the board to pieces a little bit to fit that in. My friends Keith and Nikki did that. Very grateful for their help on that one. So that's now there. I have joined the boards together with bolts, just coach bolts really, and they're going to keep everything nice and tight and nice in alignment, which is perfect. And the way that the Granger and Hodder boards are cut, you don't need to make any extra holes or anything yourself. It's literally just get the right particular bolts, put them in there, Bob's your mother's brother as such. I've put all the point work in place for the moment, because this is essentially, apart from this one here, this is essentially where every single point is going to be. So I've just put some track tacks down just to hold them in place for now, because now that I've got the point work where I want it to go, and I'm sort of looking down at the alignment to make sure everything is matching up as far as, curvature and straight lines and so forth, now I can actually start to get my track out, put the track down and start cutting it to length. But of course, that is going to be the subject for another video. So nice, short and sweet video today. I really hope that you enjoyed this first look around NOTLOB, and hopefully you're as excited as I am to see how the thing progresses. And I'm very, very much looking forward to really getting my hands in building this thing and seeing how it comes together. Of course, the most exciting part of building model railway is getting the track down and then running your first locomotives to test the whole thing out. So I'm really looking forward to that. So please hang around and follow the journey with me as I build NOTLOB. Like I said at the very beginning, give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below, what do you think of the project? What do you think of the track plan? Have you got any ideas, any comments, or any sort of feedback at all? I'm always welcome to hear from you. You can always check out things on Facebook as well. I'll also be posting a lot of photographs behind the scenes there. And please consider joining my Patreon page, because what we will do is there will not only be some special behind the scenes videos or videos that don't go out to the public, you will always get the videos at least a week before they go public on YouTube. So if that interests you, the link is down below in the comments. Right, well, I'm excited to start getting the track down, so I'm going to start ferreting on that, and I'll see you next time on Newton Grove.